Brains are as equally important as boobs.
Hi guys, it's your girl RivetingRadiance, and today's video is going to be about Epilepsy Awareness Month. Okay, so as you guys probably already know, last month was Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and that color is pink. And then you may or may not know that the month before that was PCOS Awareness Month, and that color is actually teal. I have PCOS, and this is my best friend Thailand.
Hi everyone.
And she has epilepsy. So, you know, a lot of people make a really big deal about Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Absolutely.
But usually with breast cancer awareness, that's really pushed to the forefront, and it's very mainstream. Whereas with PCOS awareness and epilepsy awareness, that's kind of pushed to the back burner, and a lot of people aren't fully aware of those conditions and what they consist of. And
More people a year die of epilepsy than they do of breast cancer. The national average is a lot higher for people who are diagnosed with epilepsy than those who have breast cancer.
basically what we're going to do is just give you guys some general information about epilepsy, because a lot of you who are probably watching this right now is probably asking yourself, what is epilepsy? So if you had to describe what epilepsy was, how would you describe it? What would you say?
Epilepsy comes in all different forms. The way that I can describe it that relates to me is I have a condition called grand mal seizures, and what happens for me is that my body shakes all over. I seize from about a minute to 2 minutes. Sometimes when I go into a seizure, I lose consciousness, which causes me to sometimes urinate on myself, to throw up, to just lose all release of my body parts and my body functions.
How often would you say that you have seizures?
I've been seizure free, thank the Lord, for 3 years. I was diagnosed with epilepsy when I was 9, and when I was 9 I had seizures a lot more frequently. I could have 2 or 3 seizures a week, and we tried a lot of different medications to get some control over them, but I've been seizure free now for 3 years. I was talking to my mom on the way here about, like, what does she feel about me having epilepsy and raising a child with epilepsy, and does she feel supported? Did she have the information she needed from the doctors? What did she feel like she received? And she said she felt like she didn't have a lot of support. She didn't know a lot of information. When I first started having seizures, I would have them. She would call the ambulance. By the time I got to the hospital, the seizure would be over. I would be asleep. I would be in this deep comatose sleep, and they wouldn't know what to do. They didn't figure it out. So then finally they made me a neurology appointment, and that's how I was diagnosed for epilepsy. They believe that I may have had a mini stroke when I was a baby that kind of lay dormant, and then when I turned 9, that's when my epilepsy came into effect. My whole right side of my body is weaker than my left side. I'm left-handed. For about 3 years, when I first started driving, 2.5 years, I started my car with my left hand. I didn't have enough energy or enough efficiency in my right hand to start a car. So I practiced on a stick to gain the strength in my right hand to be able to use it effectively in driving situations. So that's what happened with me and what they believe happened with me.
You mentioned medications. Is there a cure for epilepsy, or how is it treated?
There is not a cure for epilepsy. There is no one-hit-or-quitter fix. You try very much a lot of different things. I've been on Tegretol, which a lot of people know about, Dilantin. I've been on a ketogenic diet that you weigh the grams of your food, and you only eat certain foods, and it says that it sends the right amount of energy and information to your brain to prevent seizures. And now I'm on a medication called Lamictal, which I've been using since I was in my late teens to treat epilepsy. Lamictal is a tricky kind of drug because it's used for seizure disorder, but it's also used to treat mood disorders in children and adults.
And I have to say that I do take Lamictal as well, but mine is for a personality disorder. So yeah, we won't go into which one I have. When they prescribed it to me, it sounded familiar, but I didn't know quite where I heard it from. And then I was talking to my best friend, and I found out that she was taking it too. And that's another thing. We did not plan these dresses. That is so high school. We would never do something like that. I know you're not going to believe us, but we really, honest to God, didn't. Honestly, we didn't.
On everything we love.
Okay, I'll tell you what happened. So she was going to come over here to do the video, and I was planning to do her makeup, but we never discussed what we were going to wear. I went in my closet and put on this dress, and when she came, she had like a shopping bag, and I guess she had just purchased it. I don't know, or if she... Did you bring it from your house?
I brought it from my house. I was just picking like purple items.
I was like, I'm not going to tell them that because they're not going to believe us anyway, so what's the point? We would just be wasting our breath. But no, we did not plan this coordination. Okay, maybe that's why we are best friends, because we have that chemistry. You know, sometimes you just can't fight it. You can't, no matter how much you don't want to be their best friend.
Right. Agreed. So what I was going to add to that, since we were talking about best friends and things like that, Shanika has never seen me have a seizure.
Never.
And we have been friends since the 8th grade. So we were 13. So I'm going to say almost 18 years.
Really?
And
are you sure about that?
Yes, because we were 13 in 8th grade, right? 12 in 8th grade. So almost 18 years, because we're 30.
I would say 14 in 8th grade.
No, 14 we're going to 9th grade.
Oh, okay.
Because we're born in February, so we turned 14 in the 9th grade. That's another thing. We're 5 days apart.
Yeah, I'm February 18th. She's February 23rd.
And my son was born February 18th as well.
And I'm his godmom.
Craziness. So we've been friends for about 18 years, and she's never ever seen me have a seizure.
Which is weird, because people that she's known for less amount of times have seen her have seizures, whereas me, who's known her for like almost 20 years, have never witnessed it.
And I think that's just like God covering her, because I don't know if she can really handle it. As far as epilepsy awareness, I think that it's so important to be aware, to know what to do, to know the myths. People say, well, what do I do if I see someone have a seizure, if my friend has a seizure? Your only responsibility is to make sure that they're safe and to call the ambulance. If they're diagnosed with epilepsy and you know them and you know, okay, 2 minutes, they're going to rest, they're going to be fine. If it's someone you've never seen have a seizure, it's always better to err on the side of caution. Never put anything into their mouths. That is a myth that they can swallow their tongue. They cannot swallow their tongues. Do not put your hands. They can bite it off and they can really hurt themselves. Make sure they're on a flat surface where they can't harm themselves or others. They can't hit anything. I've been in situations where I've tried to get up and I've hurt myself when I fall. So just being cautious of those things and just be there with them. Let them know, because when they come out of it, they're going to want to see a familiar face. They may be aggressive or agitated, but just be that face that they know that's familiar, so that when they do come to, they'll come back and they'll know that everything's okay.
I'm glad you're making me aware of all this, because I still haven't witnessed it to this day. I don't think I ever will, though. I really
Lord
don't.
is really...
My mom knows, because what they say is he won't place more on you than you can bear. I can't bear that. Okay? I would be just like a deer caught in headlights.
I know that God has spared you for a reason. I don't know what it is, or you just know that you can't handle it, but I think that He spared you for a reason.
Name, if you could go through a couple, like all the people who's ever witnessed you have a seizure.
Anisha, who I've known for 10 years. My fiance Sadat, he's known me for 3 years. He saw the last seizure I had, he saw me have. My friend Aleka, my friend Whitney, who I've known for less than
really?
I had a seizure at work maybe about 6 years ago. Another thing that's unique to mine, which maybe just think about, I only have seizures in my sleep. So they wake me up out of my sleep. I'm not a person who's walking down the street and just go into a seizure, like some people who may stare off into space, which is a different type of seizures. I have to be sleep. So I'll be sleep and then I'll wake up. I'll feel it in my right hand. Usually it's like, I can compare it to your hand going numb when your hand falls asleep, and it's a stronger feeling and my heart is racing, and that's how I know that I have a seizure coming on.
You prepare yourself?
Yes, I just say, like, when I was younger, my mom said I would cry out, "Mom," and she would come in there and run in there and just sit with me. As I've gotten older and I've learned more about it, I'm aware more of my body, I can jump up and I'll start praying and I'll start speaking in tongues, and I'm saying, "Devil, you're a liar and you're not going to take my body." And I just start praying and talking to God and having that relationship with Him. And I'm just talking to Him and saying, "God, you're controlling my body." And I can literally pray myself out of a seizure.
Have you done that before?
Several times. And it's all about bringing your body and your brain back aware, back awake. Drinking things, doing something that causes your brain to think, can bring me personally out of a seizure. I was on medications in high school and middle school that would make me completely sleepy, and I would fall asleep in class. I remember I was in 8th grade at East Millbrook. I had a seizure in class because the medicine, it just was not working. So a lot of times with epilepsy, people don't know that you have to try different things. There isn't no, okay, you have this, take this, and this will make you feel better. You have to try different things and see what works. Dr. Sanjay Gupta on CNN did this whole big thing a couple months ago about marijuana, and a family was using marijuana on their young child who was having 19 seizures a day and was literally at a place where she wasn't even vocal, and the marijuana was working for her. I can't say that if I was in this parent situation and my child was having that many seizures a day that I wouldn't try whatever is going to work. So a lot of different people are trying different things, and as time progresses and people do research, that's why it's so important to be aware and to give to the Epilepsy Foundation and different organizations that you believe in are putting that effort into finding a cure. Epilepsy is one of the scariest things in the world. I've had them since I was 9, and they're no less scary now than they were when I was 9 years old. The treatment, getting MRIs where you go into that machine, it's very small, getting EEGs, doing sleep studies where they put probes in your head. And it's all about finding a cure, finding treatment, finding out what works. One time I was in WICMED for a week, and they wanted to video record me have a seizure. And they kept me up late at night, every single night, night after night after night. And finally, the last night I was there, I had a seizure. And they wanted to record it. And I could not even watch the entire video. It was so scary to watch. So that's why I say, if you have friends or you see one, it is so important to be proactive, to be right by their side. Even for me, who I have them, I couldn't even watch the video. I couldn't imagine a minute that it took to have the seizure felt like it was 10 minutes. It seemed so long.
You know, is there anything else you think they should know?
Just like you represent breast cancer, just like you paint your nails, wear your pink pins, do the same for epilepsy. Just support it, give, become knowledgeable. You never know. You could be in the grocery store and have somebody have one, and you could say, you know what, I know what to do. I know how to handle this situation. Remember, a loved one. You could be a first responder, and you can make sure this person is okay. As an adult, they're scary for me. I can't imagine a 5- and a 6-year-old going through these same things. I know that it's tough. I know that it's difficult. I know it wears on their parents. I know it wears on their family. My aunt is diagnosed with epilepsy, who I love dearly. My cousin, Ricky, is diagnosed with epilepsy.
So is it heredity?
It is not said to be hereditary, but they're still doing research on that. My cousin, Lakeisha, is diagnosed with Down syndrome. Back then, there wasn't so much research on what to take when you're pregnant and stuff, and they never said or not said whether that has something to do with her having Down syndrome, with my aunt having epilepsy and being on medication.
So what you're saying is that your aunt had epilepsy and was taking medication for the epilepsy, and then she got pregnant, she didn't stop taking the medication, and then her child came out with Down syndrome. So it's important that we do research.
Right. I made a decision not to take medication when I was pregnant with my children. It was a personal decision that I made with myself. It was a personal decision that we made as a family, and I just did not want any type of medication in my system while I was carrying my children. Thankfully, and I consider myself extremely honored and blessed that God protected me, because I did not have any seizures while I was pregnant or throughout my nursing of my children. But it was in today, if I got pregnant again, I would make the decision most likely, even though I'm on a medication that they consider to be safe, to not be on medication. So Shanika was actually the one who had found out about this. She had sent me the post on November 1st, and I was so tickled and excited because, you know, it's something I've dealt with and my family knows about, but not many people know about it. Not many people talk about it. Not many people where they know the myths of, oh, my cousin back in the day had a seizure, or, you know, the football player had a seizure, but they don't know much about epilepsy and what it is and how it works.
You know, epilepsy affects your brain, and that's like just as important as your breast.
As equally as important. It wasn't saying more important. It said it is as equally as important as your boobs. I work at in retail, and the number one thing that I kept hearing last month, oh, do y'all have any breast cancer awareness stuff? Do y'all have any breast cancer awareness stuff? Do y'all have any breast cancer awareness stuff? And so I went to my boss this month and I said, you know, I have epilepsy and it's purple, and I ordered some pins, and will you guys wear them? And she was like, absolutely. Because people are going to ask the other cashiers and the other people that I work with, what's that for? What's that for? And they'll be able to tell them, and they'll be able to share and make more people aware.
Wow, okay. Well, you know, this isn't about PCOS, but I have a couple of videos about those. I'll link those in the bottom description box just in case if you're now interested in that after watching this video, because that's really important too. You know, with PCOS, that can cause infertility. There's so many women these days who can't have children because of PCOS.
That's one of my favorite videos that she has. She hates it, but it is one of my favorite videos. I watch it all the time because
well, I have several.
Okay.
So the one you're talking about is...
She talks about how she got pregnant with PCOS.
Right.
And she almost cries a little bit in the video, and it's my favorite because we've been friends for 18 years. I know she doesn't like to cry. She doesn't like to be emotional. The Epilepsy Foundation, has great information. If you know anything or anything that's going on, please just put it in her little response box. It is greatly appreciated, and I thank you and appreciate you for watching the video. Where do I need to be looking at? That or the thing?